Daniel never imagined that one day he would be standing alone in the kitchen at 6 a.m., packing a tiny pink lunchbox while his 6-year-old daughter waited at the table, rubbing sleep from her eyes. His wife, Claire, had passed away 3 years ago after a short illness, leaving behind only Daniel and their daughter, Lily. Since then, every day had been a quiet battle between grief and hope, exhaustion and determination. Life as a single father was not something Daniel had prepared for. Before Claire's passing, he had been the parent who worked long hours in a construction company while Claire managed most of Lily's needs: school, homework, playdates. Daniel was the weekend dad, the one who showed up with ice cream and silly jokes. But when Claire was gone, everything shifted. He had no choice but to become both mother and father, comforter and disciplinarian, nurturer and provider. Every morning began with a rush. Daniel woke before dawn, prepared breakfast, packed lunch, checked Lily's homework, and tried to iron his own shirt in between. Then came the drive to school, a hurried kiss goodbye, and the long commute to his construction job. Evenings were harder: homework, cooking, laundry, bedtime stories. Daniel often collapsed onto the couch after Lily fell asleep, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he was doing enough. The truth was, he doubted himself constantly. He wasn't good at braiding hair. He forgot school events. Once he even sent Lily to school with mismatched socks. Other parents, mostly mothers, looked at him with a mix of sympathy and curiosity. Some offered help, but Daniel, proud and stubborn, rarely accepted. He wanted to prove to himself that he could do this, that Lily wouldn't grow up missing out just because she had only one parent. Lily, however, was patient and wise beyond her years. She never complained when dinner was just scrambled eggs. She laughed when her dad's attempts at ponytails turned into messy knots. At night, when Daniel tucked her in, she would whisper, "You're the best dad in the world." Those words became his fuel, the reason he got up every morning to try again. But challenges grew heavier as Lily got older. She wanted someone to talk to about things Daniel didn't fully understand: friendships at school, ballet classes, even the simple desire to have a mother at Mother's Day events. One year, when Lily was 8, she came home from school holding back tears. Her classmates had made cards for their moms. She had made hers too but had no one to give it to. Daniel found her sitting quietly in her room, holding the card. His chest tightened as he sat beside her. "You can give it to me," he whispered. "But you're not a mom," she said softly. "No, I'm not," he admitted. "But I'll try to be both for you." That night, Daniel cried silently after Lily fell asleep. It was the first time he truly realized the depth of what his daughter missed. He couldn't replace Claire. All he could do was love Lily with every part of himself. Years went by. Daniel worked harder, sometimes taking night shifts, but he always made time for Lily. He attended every school play, clapped the loudest at her recitals, and learned how to cook her favorite spaghetti just right. He even joined YouTube tutorials to master braiding. Slowly, he became not just a father but also the center of Lily's small universe. By the time Lily reached middle school, Daniel's sacrifices began to show their worth. She was confident, kind, and resilient. Teachers often said, "She's mature for her age." Daniel would smile proudly, though inside he knew it was because Lily had been forced to grow up a little faster than others. Still, the journey wasn't smooth. During Lily's teenage years, tension filled the house. She sometimes snapped at him, called him too controlling, or accused him of not understanding her. Daniel would sit quietly, reminding himself not to react in anger. Parenting alone meant he had no one to share the burden with, no partner to discuss strategies or split responsibilities. But deep down, he held on to one belief: that love, patience, and honesty would guide them through. One evening, when Lily was 15, she came home crying after a fight with her friends. She stormed into her room and slammed the door. Daniel hesitated for an hour before finally knocking. "Want to talk?" he asked gently. She didn't answer. He almost walked away but decided to sit outside her door. "I don't know how to be perfect," he said softly. "I mess up all the time. But I'm here. I'll always be here." The door creaked open. Lily looked at him with teary eyes, then buried her face in his chest. I don't need you to be perfect, Dad. I just need you. That night, Daniel realized that being a single father wasn't about replacing a mother or being flawless. It was about presence. Showing up, no matter how tired or broken he felt. Loving without condition. When Lily finally graduated high school, Daniel sat in the crowd, his eyes wet as she walked across the stage in her cap and gown. She looked radiant, strong, and full of promise. After the ceremony, she ran into his arms. Dad, she whispered, I couldn't have done it without you. Daniel smiled through tears. We did it together. Years later, when Lily left for college, the house felt painfully quiet. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, Daniel was alone again. But this time, it was different. He wasn't broken. He wasn't unsure. He was proud. Proud that despite the struggles, the lonely nights, the countless sacrifices, he had raised a daughter who was ready to face the world. And though he missed Claire every day, Daniel knew she would have been proud too. Because in the end, he had not only survived as a single father, he had built a life full of love, resilience, and hope.